Well, I wanted to record one standing up because I haven't in a while. Um, I went to a beauty clinic today, uh, and now I somehow feel like I look 20 years older. But good news is it's all reversible, allegedly. Um, uh, Trying to get some things done today. Hasn't quite gone as I hoped it would. I also realized that I am essentially still a child. Like my packing is the equivalent of a 6-year-old bringing their Game Boy and 5-cent candies. It's, it's crazy. Um, yeah. Other than that, weather's a little more moderate in Chiang Mai, so that's a nice change. Um, Eating way too much garbage here because everything tastes so good. And it's just easy everywhere you go. Um, and it's not just rice or noodles and a mixture of mystery fish or mystery meats or whatever, different colored kinds of sausage that may or may not be sausage. Um, yeah, definitely the convenience factor plays a part here. Um, yeah, I have spent quite a bit of time thinking about the fact that I'm not gonna have an answer when I come out of this, and um, that I'm gonna have even less time, and things are still falling apart, and all of that stuff. But and and that I think the goal of all of this is me trying to galvanize a direction in my life. Um, like trying to force me to actually pick something. And I feel like I might run out of time before I get there. But who knows? It does feel that way though. And if I like break out the timeline like that that is how it seems to be heading. Feeling very fat today. Too much sugar. Too many tacos. Uh, Too many treats. Uh, some amazing gyms here. Overall, it is a pretty good place. I am. The stuff I don't like about Thailand is still here, though. That um, it's just a hustle everywhere you go, and like it's a hustle in Vietnam, but in a more negative way, and it's. I think that's sort of like the like here. It's like it's this positive hustle, and you don't want to be nobody's being mean or rude or anything, and so it is just like this constant like thing here, but you trade the good with the bad. There is definitely less bad here than Vietnam. Yeah, I still don't feel like Canada is the option, but I haven't ruled it out. I don't see how it doesn't end up exactly the same as it was, and very quickly with a lot more downside and a lot less upside. Um, that being said, I don't really have an answer to stay here or stay anywhere. So, and the Vietnam thing is just the more people I talk to about it, and the more I look at it and think about it, like it just is not what I'm looking for. Like unless I was like wealthy enough to just be completely isolated. Like it would be the cheapest place in the world to buy a massive house, live on the beach or near the beach, like, and just be completely isolated, if you had the resources for it. But it still is just, for the most part, like a lot of overarching sort of negativity. And like there is some subsets, like the Russian community is a little more welcoming, a little friendlier, a little more open. But everybody there is sort of segregated because there is this anti-achievement, anti-success thing like looming over everything. So that is that. Uh, but it is still, I like, again, for value, the beaches are beautiful, the water's nice, the blah 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 blah. But yeah, yeah. I I've thought a lot about like friends and family and like and how much I miss that and how much it means to me and how much more that affects me now than it ever did before. And even things like trying to get to know my parents and understand my family each individually better, because I wasn't ever really around, and sort of wanting that and wanting to be in a better place with that, but it still is like none of that is like strong enough to fight how sort of strong the negativity of whatever I'm dealing with is. Like it's not a good enough excuse to go back to that and put myself in that without some kind of solution. And my life feels so far away now. Like, I already, like, I already don't have a huge value on my accomplishments, um, or my my abilities, or anything like that. But at this point, it all seems so far away that, like, it doesn't even feel like it ever existed. And so that's had a bit of an effect on trying to find some life direction as well, in a negative way. Yeah. Yeah. I was talking to somebody the other day, and the concept of, like, midlife crisis kept coming up, and it, like, offends me personally, and I get, like, a little defensive, and I was, like, trying to be resistant to that, and aware of it, but because I feel like I already had a midlife crisis, and so I'm trying to dismiss that as, like, that's not what this is. But I think if you, like, if I separate the like, inferred ideology of it, and just look at the words of, like, having a life crisis in, like, the middle age of my lifespan, like, I am in crisis because I don't have a path forward. So I guess you can have more than one midlife crisis. And so this is, in theory, a midlife crisis. But yeah, again, I was, like, trying really hard to get not defensive about it, because it just seems, I took it as, like, minimalization, or, like, lack of awareness of self, or something like that. But I like, again, I guess it is really just the same thing. Like, I have a severe lack of purpose and a severe lack of drive, and maybe you can just call it that. I don't. Maybe it is as simple as just a midlife crisis. I need a haircut and another sports car, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I've been on the fence about backing out of this whole thing, but coming tomorrow, and I'm gonna go through with it, and fingers crossed, hope for the best. Yeah, it's thinking about impact and things. So I will end this video because my internal train of thought is not coherent enough to express. But I'm still feeling very lost and very directionless and very confused and alone and heading towards the cliff, metaphorically. Anyways, tomorrow's the new day.